Our kids don't even know who Daniel Boone is. The things that we knew, because at the time it was spilling out of our television sets, it's not anymore. We learn these things, our kids do not. They won't know who Daniel Boone is, or Davy Crockett, or Neil Armstrong. Oh, they'll know who probably Mary Kay is, but not Christopher Columbus. And they will learn that America is an imperialist nation. And it won't matter to them. It won't matter to them that it's gone, because they'll be a global citizen. I know this, and I know history is important, because that is the argument and the debate that is going on right now in Texas for our children's textbooks. As Texas goes, so goes the rest of the country when it comes to textbooks. History has been important. It always has been. I just didn't appreciate it. But luckily, I smartened up, and with a dear, sweet wife who thought enough of me to give me the greatest Christmas present I have received. I remember my own history, and I appreciate it. I am the man I am today because I not only remember this little boy, me, but I also remember this man, a machinist at Boeing and a farmer, a guy who I don't think he even completed the 4th grade. A man who loved his country. A man who was a Democrat. He wouldn't even recognize the Democrats today. And although he may be gone, in his own way he taught me well to cherish those things that are real and important and to protect them. He did his best. And now it is time for me, now that he is gone, for me to take his place and do my best, and you to do your best. And with any luck, our children and grandchildren will think of us the way I think of him. Back in a minute. You know, there are some people that are in denial that history is being rewritten or has been rewritten for a very long time. But really, is it that far-fetched, really? Let me ask you this question. Before being exposed to this program, what did you think of FDR? Most Americans are taught that this guy, oh, he was America's hero. He grabbed America's arm as she was drowning, pulled her safely to shore. Oh, we were taught that America so loved this man. He was so popular that he was elected 4 times. Why is it we were never taught that he prolonged the Depression? That FDR waged a war against the Constitution? That after this man died, the body was barely cold before Americans passed the 22nd Amendment to make presidential term limits law? I mean, if he was so loved, why when he died, everybody's like, oh my gosh, let's make sure that doesn't happen again? That doesn't make sense. What about Woodrow Wilson? I hate this guy. I don't even want to show his picture. No, don't do it. Don't show his picture. I hate this guy. I didn't know anything about him. He's fondly brushed over in history class as a highly intelligent thinker. Really? Great world leader at the time of war. Why is it that no textbook teaches that Wilson was imprisoning Americans who spoke out against his war, World War I? Or that Wilson's high tax policies led to a depression in 1920, ignored in all of the history books? Why is that? Our schools have been so one-sided, and at any moment to get additional points of view included are met with great resistance. At any time that happens, oh, no, no, no. That's not progressive thought. Right now in Texas, there's a battle going on what's going to be taught in history. Is it going to be in or is it going to be out? Well, it's going to be taught in government and other social studies classes. I know it's happening in Texas, but it's important because the publishers base their textbooks on Texas. So as Texas goes, so goes the nation. California, they make their own textbooks. They're so whacked out that nobody bases anything on California. They base it all on Texas. So there is a battle. Some of the battles being fought now aren't exactly things you would think that were ever in question. 78% of Americans say they're Christian. But Christmas is now being dropped from the important religious holiday list in the classroom. Really? Businesswoman Mary Kay had more mentions in textbooks than Christopher Columbus. Neil Armstrong, Daniel Boone, they're out. They're off the books. Neil Armstrong and Daniel Boone. Ask your 14, 15-year-old who Daniel Boone was. Ask yourself, who's Daniel Boone? Students are currently being taught the responsibility of being a global citizen, and that America is an imperialist nation. That, by the way, is a bad thing. Kids are left with the feeling that we should hold our heads in shame, and we should have a president that apologizes to the rest of the world. Is that the America that you know? Not me. Boy, we've made some real problems, but we have tried to correct them. And as I study history, I see that a lot of the problems, most of the problems, in fact, stem from Woodrow Wilson and the progressive movement. I wouldn't have ever known that if I hadn't gone back and read original documents and original writings, original books written by Woodrow Wilson, and original speeches by Theodore Roosevelt. Read the original stuff, not what history teachers are teaching you, the original stuff. Listen to them. It's like reading the newspaper reports about what I say and then watching this show every day. Which do you think is more accurate? How will our kids even know the truth? Political correctness has infected our textbooks. Words deemed offensive have been taken from the books, like man. Yeah, man. No more mailman or policeman, it's person. Tomorrow I have a special 1-hour program on the indoctrination that is happening in your schools. It's happening right now. All the things that politicians and activists and radicals are pushing on our children. Especially the politicians, extraordinarily disturbing. The battle for the minds of our youth is being fought right now. See, the people who have control right now are the people that were the radical dope-smoking hippies of the 60s. They're the ones in control right now. They haven't changed. And now they're at the highest levels of power. If we lose this generation, we're done. They know they were there. If the people in power can go and get the dope-smoking hippies, if you will, now, if they can convince our kids this is right, they pop it. The pressure from the bottom and the top. Most parents aren't even aware of all the stuff that's going on in their school. Tomorrow, I want you to watch this show. I want you to call a friend. I want you to say, watch the show. Even if you don't watch, but you think they might get it, tell them to watch tomorrow's show. Watch it with your kids, 5 p.m. Eastern. That's tomorrow night. Back in a minute.